Hey guys, it's Robin from RsIslandCrafts and welcome to my craft room. I think we finally hit the end of our crumb block series. I have one last little idea on how to use some scrappy blocks to go with your scrappy crumb blocks. As I've said in the past, they're very scrappy blocks, and mine are 6.5 inches, so I can easily take out any block and insert another 6.5 inch block. It all depends on what fabrics you have in your crumbs, how you're going to use this quilt or table topper, or for me curtains, and what you want to do. So if you want to keep it all scrappy, you can just all stitch them all together. If it's too much scrappy chaos for you and maybe you want to put some of those solid blocks in we did, or you might want to make some friendship stars or any type of pattern you want. But today I want to show you a couple more scrappy ideas. I thought a fun scrappy block that would go good with these crumbs would be the log cabin. And it didn't take me long to realize that when I make log cabins, you start with the center block and you just keep adding them on and spiraling them around. But my log cabin blocks, they really are pretty much the same as my crumb. This one's a little bit different, as you can see, but a lot of the times I will just start with the center block and I will just keep adding pieces all the way around until I have a finished crumb block. So log cabin style for me in a scrappy way is very similar. So I had to scrap that idea. But then I made some red, white, and blue ones to hopefully give you a little bit of idea of what you can do. A lot of times with the log cabin block, you might have all shades of whites or creams on one side and then all shades of, say, blue or green or orange or whatever on the other side. Or your whole square could be different shades of the same color. Like I said, I went with a red, white, and blue because I had a big bin of these. But for me, I think log cabins really isn't going to make that much of a difference when I put them into this quilt, because it just blends right in and it doesn't stand out that much against the rest of the blocks. You could see if I made them all the same, it would definitely catch your eye and you could tell that there would be a difference. But that's just making an extra 20 or 30 blocks that I already have plenty of crumb blocks, and it would still kind of give it the same look. And another scrappy project I like to work on is I always have string blocks going. So I thought, well, let's see what it would look like with some string blocks. Now the string blocks definitely change it up a little bit, but I think if I were going to be adding string blocks to my crumb quilt, I would want to put it in more of a grouping. So for me, I would want to take and put it into some type of a design so that I'd have one giant string block and then I can balance it out with the rest of my crumbs. Now this would definitely give you a nice amount of movement and change up your crumbs a little. And it all, like I said, it all depends on what you're looking for. Now for me, I would rather just have a whole string quilt and a whole crumb quilt. I'm also working on these string blocks where I have one specific color almost in the center that will be in all of my blocks going all the way around. And that would definitely draw your eye to your string blocks. So you could have this going against your crumbs. So that you could basically have a lot of craziness. But once again, while I love this design, and I definitely will be making more of these so I can have my black and my colorful quilt, I still don't really prefer that with my crumbs. But if you do like the string blocks and you just really want to make it stand out, you can have one large string block to mix in with all of your crumb blocks. Now this one is only 9.5 inches, so for me I would need to have a 12.5 inch block to go up against the two of these, or I would have to do a little bit of finagling with trimming and stuff, so it'd be easier to have a 12.5 inch block. But you can see how adding one large one against your crumbs would look. But that's about all I have with different ideas for using different scrappy blocks in with your crumb block project. Like I said, whatever size block you have, you put in any other block with you. Just kind of audition it and see what it looks like. And if you have controlled chaos with your crumbs, you can have very controlled extra blocks to bonus blocks to go with it. And it'll give you a nice blend. Or you can just, like I said, stitch them all together or stitch them with the sashing. I'll put a link up here in the iCard for all the different blocks we've been doing so far. It's a nice little variety, and it gives you kind of an idea of what things are going to look like. So this pretty well finishes off our end of our Crumb block series. If you have any questions or you do have an idea that you'd like to see, go ahead and leave it down below in the comments. I have one more project to show you with these Crumb blocks though, so it's not really at the end, but the next thing I want to show you is when I make my curtains and show you how I put mine together and decide to use mine in my room to decorate my craft room. My plan is to have those curtains sewn and up before next week's video so that we can go ahead and take a look at that. And then the only thing left to decide then is what type of scrappy project should we work on next. If you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave that down in the comments down below and we can get a nice conversation going and see what fun types of things we can come up with using our scraps. I think you're going to be surprised when you see my final curtains because I have a little bit of a not a secret, but I have a little bit of a special touch I will be adding to the curtains. Thank you for hanging out with me during this series while we play with all my different scraps and make the crumb blocks. I've had a lot of fun just playing with the fabric, putting all things different together, and seeing what different ways things can come out. If you enjoy these types of videos, please go ahead and like the video and subscribe to my channel. And if you ring that little bell down there, YouTube will let you know whenever I put up a new video because you never know what we might get up to here in my craft room. So happy scrapping, and I will see you next time. Bye!